Hello there folks, it's Dazza at the yard and today's item is a Nissan Pathfinder. This is a 2012 version, so it's the 190 horsepower 2.5 DCI engine, and I have a small problem with this vehicle that I'm going to go through and show you how to fix. So let's get into the problem and then let's see how we can actually fix it. As you can hear, I've got what I thought was this very squeaky belt, but it's not actually the belt. I have already had this all apart, so I knew what I was going to get into. I did do the WD-40 check on this as well. Sorry, forgive me, I can't remember now when you spray it on, if the noise disappears, but I'll put it into the actual post itself. But what it is, and you can hardly see it really down there, we'll get this all apart. It's this, it's the tensioner that is rattling away. I did have, a couple of days ago, I did have this all off and then checked all the pulleys, and the tensioner is, yeah, the bearings are toasting it. So let's turn this off. You hear the noise. It's continual. It's nothing to do with the damp, cold mornings or anything. It's quite a dry day today. The engine's not warm, but it's a dry day. And this is the continual sound now that I'm getting out of this car. So before those bearings completely collapse, I want to get into this. But anyway, let's get this turned off and let's get into showing a bit of what I've got and how we get into this. So I knew that the tensioner then is in quite a bad state. So what I've done is I've bought a new pulley. Okay, now what I'm not going to do, this is just the pulley. Let me give you this part number, and it's thanks to people on this forum actually I found this, so I can't take the credit for this. I have to thank other people here. There you go, ADN 196520. It's a blueprint. If I open this up, you can actually see, you might not see it here, you actually see that it is a, I don't know if I can get it, it's an SKF bearing. It's a 6203. It might come up on the light. Sorry, I'm doing this in the dark. It'd be a bit easier if I wasn't doing it with daylight. But anyway, it's SKF bearing in there. So it is the correct thing for it. So that's that. So it's thanks to people on this forum that I've got this. Just getting the light back in. Thanks to people on the forum that I've got this, so there you go. Now there are, all I'll do is I'll help people because I'm not going to take the credit for it. But yeah, sorry, that thing is not focusing, is it? But it is an ADN, God, terrible, ADN 19, you saw it a little bit earlier, 5220, okay. I don't know why it's not even focusing on, there we go, ADN 196. That's a blueprint. Okay, so that's that. So I'm not going to do the full tensioner. There are 3 options, okay, and I'll post them up, but I'm taking credit where I shouldn't do because other people have put this up. You have actually got, you could actually replace the bearing inside here, the SKF bearing. I've gone for the middle option, which is get the wheel, or you could actually get the full tensioner with the bracket and everything else. But actually this job is fairly easy. I think it was about £40 today. Obviously, it depends on when you're doing this, but in 2025, £40. Does depend on when you're doing this job, but I think this is the easiest way of doing it, unless there's something really fundamentally wrong with your your tensioner housing, if you like. Okay, so that's that. Then the other thing is you got here is I've got some belts now. I've had to get these out on the rush because it's we're going away over Christmas, and I didn't realise how bad this was. I wouldn't probably choose a Continental belt, but I'll give it a go and see. I mean, Gates are probably the best ones for it, but anyway, I've gone for this Dayco belt here, and that's your serpentine belt for your alternator and aircon pump and so on. And then you got this belt here, which is your power steering belt. Yeah, gone for this. So I got these out of Euro car parts. Probably I would have gone for Gates belts, but I'm in a bit of a rush, and this is all that was offer. I might change them back to Gates, but we'll see how we go. I mean, the belts are a pretty simple job to do, so if I have to change them, I change them. They weren't that expensive either. And then the other thing is, what I would do is do the drawing. You might not get this. Do the drawing of the of how the belt goes. So I've tried to do, because this thing just weaves around everywhere, and if you're not doing these regular, it's a flipping pain. You have to remember it all. So it goes around the top of the alternator up here, okay, up on the top right, go over the top of the alternator. Underneath there's an idler, this one here, the idler. Then you've got the fan, okay, it scoops all the way around the fan and comes back round. This is the tensioner, so that's the pulley I'm going to be taking off, okay. And then you got it comes back round the crank, okay. Then there's the wind's blowing, the aircon compressor there, okay, and then goes back up to the alternator. So that's how it works. The reason I'm drawing this out, I mean, there's plenty of diagrams online. The reason I'm drawing this out is only because you know, it's difficult enough to follow anyway, and you just need a map of how this all works. Okay, so the tensioner has a 14mm bolt in it, okay, and that's the that tensioner has the 14mm bolt in there, and that's what you then undo. Well, you actually push it down clockwise, but I'll show you how to do this. We'll get into that in a minute. Okay, so just to explain what this is. So this has got a automatic tensioner on this one. The earlier Navaras and Pathfinders, the 2005 I think to 2010, they had their manual adjusted. So this is a slightly different thing, so this is what we're going to go into. But anyway, let's first of all get this we need to get this cover off. Let's start this off. And take this cover off, because then we get some space here. Now what you've got here is a series of sort of 12 and 14mm bolts. So this is the sorry, that's very difficult to see here, but this is your power steering adjuster belt. So you've got a 12mm. You got a 12mm there, okay. And then what you have to do is obviously undo this the front bolt of the pulley here, okay. So just undo that one, and then loosen that one, and the whole thing slides, okay. Now some people are saying that actually you have to take the fan off. I find you don't. I mean, it's choice is yours. You can take the fan off, okay. It's held on just by these bolts here. I don't know whether the focus is going to come out here. There's some 10mm nuts there, okay, which are you can undo. There's 4 of them, and then that will bring the fat. But I find that you can actually slide, I mean this belt here, this one here just drops off on the floor anyway, or you can pick it up through here, but this one here with the main fan belt, if you like, I find that I can just weave it around the fan, so I can pull it off, okay, and then put it back. Some say, you know, you just got a bit more room. I guess that's a valid point. I just find that you're just taking more stuff off. Maybe it's not as necessary. So let's get this one off, this power steering belt off first of all. So I'm just undoing the 14mm nut that's on the end there, and then I'll do the adjuster. So these ones are anti-clockwise, so they're normal right-handed thread. Just go and get the 12mm. That's it. So you just need the 12mm on here. And that should be enough. So, and then this should now slide off. Just no, a bit more. So that now should slide off, hopefully. So that's as simple as that. Okay, so that's come off of there. Okay. So now what I use here, so it's very difficult to see obviously with all the pieces down here, but what you got here is the adjuster. Okay, so I'll point it out. So it's that one there, the bottom one. Okay, that's got a 14mm bolt. All right, one of the things I just ought to say as well, whilst I remember, the bolt is also a right-handed thread. Okay, not a left-handed or counterclockwise counter thread, whatever you call them. So basically, to get the pulley off, you do, and it's an ordinary thread, so it's an anti-clockwise. Okay, but you actually turn it clockwise. Okay, which makes sense why it's an anti-clockwise to undo the pulley itself. You turn it clockwise to loosen the to take the belt off the tensioner and off the actual you know, all off the pulleys. So that's what you do here. So, see if I can film it here. I'm not sure. We'll see what we do. I'm going to use a 1/2 inch. It's a 14mm, as I say. And I'm going to use a 1/2 inch here. Ratchet. Socket, sorry. No, ratchet. Whether I can actually get some... but that's what I've done here. So I've got that socket on there. Okay. And I've now just pulled it off the alternator. Sorry, it's literally dark in here. Okay. So I've just pulled that off. So that now will come free. I was going to change the belt. It would actually slide over the fan. Okay, so bring it through the fan housing here. Just slide it over the fan, pull it out. I've changed the belt already, thinking that it might have solved my problem, but I realised this bearing was no good. So now I'm going to take that bearing off. Now, as I said to you, it is a terrible. Can't get so tight down here. It is an anti-clockwise thread on the bolt. Okay, I am going to do this top one actually as well. There's two of them down there. You can see my sockets on one. Okay, there's another one. That's a 17mm bolt. That also is anti-clockwise as well. So that's another bearing. You can see that there just on top of the belt. Okay, I'm going to be doing that as well. Okay, because might as well. And then you can also do this one down here as well. That's the power steering idler pulley. Okay, I'll put the references up where you can buy these. Okay, but I'm going to do both of these. It's just that the urgency is to get this tensioner one done, but this other top idler next to the alternator I'm going to also have a go at as well, and do that in a few weeks time. Okay, so let's get this pulley off. Now just be careful when you obviously take this pulley off, because there's lots of little pieces with it, so you don't want them all dropping everywhere. I think there's a washer with this one, so the other one I'm not sure about, but so I'm going to just try and catch this, because this one's going to need that. So I think there's a front washer, if I recall, and the pulley itself, and obviously the bolt, so you don't want to lose it all. Right, so I've lost lost the bolt. So just to show you this idler, this tensioner pulley that I took off, you can hear, I think, hopefully, if you can't hear it, it is very rough. It's not right. So that's the key here. So that needs that's probably been making all the row that I've been experiencing. Anyway, so there you go. That just to prove, and that's what I did, was just take that off to just to check that. What I did find was that the belt didn't stop squeaking once or the whole thing was still squealing away, and that's why I sort of stopped the video the other night, because I thought, well, this is strange. I put the new bearing on, the new tensioner bearing pulley on, and it still was squealing away. So what I think I've seen it here on this forum, maybe. Well, what I ended up doing, I've certainly seen some YouTube footages as well, that things like trim polish or interior polish, if you coat the belt with it, it might stop the squealing. I think I have to hand it to a couple of guys on here, and I can't remember who. I'll put it up on the write-up as a thanks to some of them. Because some people have said that actually you can buy stuff that sort of makes the belt spin more quietly. It's partly, I'm taking some of the guys on here, so I have to thank you guys really. But what I'm hearing is that if you've had a squealing belt because of this pulley that's not being in good shape, okay, it can I think, score up the pulleys or leave a film on them, and the belt, any belt that's placed on, is always going to squeal, even though the pulley bearings across the whole range are correct. So and they're all spinning perfectly, you know, without any bearing issue. So all I'm saying is that I read, I think on here on YouTube, that some trim, black trim, polish or whatever it is, or gel or cleaner or interior cleaner as well, this all works. So this is what I've used. I used this on here. Okay, I'm saying it's not the only thing. Anything that does a sort of a interior polish or a black trim. And what I've found is, we've just been to the Peak District actually, so the car has now done way over 500 miles, and it's starting to quieten down. So I put a little bit more on because I didn't want to go overboard on this. I mean, I didn't know whether this would make it slip rather than actually sort of quieten it down. Anyway, I didn't go overboard. So before I went away, I put a bit more on because it started to have some impact on the silencing of it, and then yeah, it kind of then all disappeared. So I would check your bearings first. Okay, if you've got squeaky, there's probably a cause there on one of the bearings. Okay, I have heard the alternator can play up a bit as well. That can be a bit squeaky. I think is these idlers, certainly this tensioner, pulley, idler pulley. That obviously, the bearings in those can go, and you heard mine. You'll hear mine as well. So, but if you think you're good with all the bearings on all the pulleys, you think they're quiet or they're smooth, then try something like this on the belt and see if that does the job. It has for me. I say it's silent now. Everything is now quiet and right down. But it wasn't initially. I thought, oh no, I'm into something else here, another pulley or something that's squeaking up. But this is now quieting it down. So I'm really pleased actually. And it's thanks to some of you guys on here, okay? Because I read something about the pulleys getting a bit either scored or not. I don't think they call it scoring. I think you said that it leaves a residue, which when the belt actually touches that residue, it just, you know, it just squeaks up a bit, and this sort of cleans everything up a bit. But anyway, there you go. So that's the only other suggestion I've got. I'll say I don't know whether that's a general solve all type of thing. It has for me. It's just another element that you want to try if you are having some difficulty in still silencing this down, and you think all the pulley bearings are all good. The belt slips around, and your belt is new as well. Okay, and that was the other thing with me. I put the new belt on. Okay, great stuff. Thank you.